toe, holes in my shoes, and a bare billfold.
What's up, Nashville? This is Kayla Becker with our 7th episode of What's Going Down in Bruintown. Today we are sitting with a musician who many of you have probably heard. He has blessed our ears and our souls since he has been here. But we're here with Bedell. Thank you so much for being on our show this week.
No problem.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about you, and so people kind of get to know you, you know, but kind of behind the music, I guess, in a way. Tell us about where you're originally from and what kind of brought you here.
Well, I was born in Springfield, Missouri, and I grew up there until I was about 6. So, I mean, I started school, I guess, in Kansas. I moved to Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, me and my brother, my sister, my mom and dad, and grew up there, went to school there my whole life, and then went to college there for 3 years, and then finally decided I needed to come out here. So I've been here for about 1.5 years now.
When did you discover that music was your passion? It's obvious when, like, watching you perform that you are very passionate about what you do.
Yeah, I was always a sports guy growing up. I played basketball and baseball, and those were like my passions. I thought I was going to play in the NBA, you know, someday. And then when I realized I wasn't getting any taller than 5'10", I decided that I needed to find something else. And my dad brought my brother a guitar, and he never really played it. It just collected dust, and so I just taught myself. I was like, you know what? If this is just going to sit in here, I always found something to do. I was always bored. So I always would find something to do. So I just picked up the guitar, learned how to play it. Then I figured out I could make rhythm, you know, make beats and stuff like that. So then I actually first started out rapping. Like,
really?
Yeah. If I was to play you some of those verses, I mean, they're awful.
You gonna rap for us now?
Oh my God, no. no way. I mean, that was kind of what I first started out. And then when I got in high school, I realized, you know, being in choir and stuff, like singing became more of something that I realized I could maybe do, you know. And then my dad was a bass player for the bass player for a Christian band called The Turn, and he's a huge musician. I mean, great guitar player and bass player, great vocalist, and he kind of is the one that, you know, kind of taught me what I know and kind of inspired me to be good. He would play little riffs and stuff, and I would just be like, oh, I want to know how to do that, you know. So he was definitely the inspiration.
Oh, that's always neat to hear how a parent kind of influences that and you kind of follow in their footsteps. Well, I actually, like I said earlier, I stalked you a little bit and found that as a freshman in high school, you released your very first EP. Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about that, kind of like, what made you decide to do that and what kind of response did you receive?
Well, I started playing like little coffee shops, and I would just play like 3 or 4 songs. And I remember like a couple of my first songs were songs. It was like a song called "Beautiful Her" and "Mama Don't Cry." It was like these. They were just like my raps. They were not good.
I doubt that.
But I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna sell. I was just a brand new artist. I thought, if I play a coffee shop, I'll make a little CD. I made these CDs on my own. I produced them and everything on my rig, and it was just, you know, what I knew. I just kind of made it up, knew how to do it, and figured it out. And so I would make these little CDs, and then I put like stickers on them, and, you know, wrote this EP was called "This Is Me," and then there was 4 or 5 songs on it. And then I played this little coffee shop show, and I just handed them out for free. I was like, don't worry about it. Some people gave me money, some people didn't. You know, I was like, yeah, just take it. So after that, you know, people were like, I had a basketball game. I played basketball in high school, and we went to our rival school, Goddard, and when I was it was a huge rivalry, so the whole crowd's going crazy. Well, when I went up to shoot free throws sometime in the second quarter, the whole opposing bench started singing one of my songs, like to throw me off. And that was the first time I knew that that maybe I could do something more than, you know, just handing out little 4-song CDs.
But that's what's got your name out there. I mean, I feel like some people think, oh, I have to charge, do this, but then again, you just got to get your name out there, and obviously you've done a very good job about that. Okay, so obviously that's not your only EP you have released. You said that you have more. I've read about 3, but you said you have more than that. Walk us through kind of how you released them and what they are.
Well, after that one, I didn't really do anything else in high school. I was basketball took a lot of time, and choir, and I with one of my buddies, Shane Kaneki, I did a lot of film and stuff. We would do a lot of commercials, and we would enter a lot of contests for I would make the music, he would do the video production, and for local things like a place called Taco Tico, Heinz ketchup, Butterfinger, Spangles was a local place. We did a bunch of stuff, and we ended up winning about 2 or 3 of those competitions that paid out like $2,000 or $3,000. You know, it was really nice, and so that's kind of what I spent my time doing in high school. And when I got in college, I was like, I needed to, you know, release something else. So I put together a little 7-song thing, and it was called Faith, and it had songs like Dancing Shoes and a song called Change the World, which later became the theme song to the community college that I attended, which was really cool. They embraced it, and they were like, you know, he wrote this song here, and it shows his journey and how Butler impacted him, so they used that as their whole marketing campaign. Mm-hmm. So it was really, really cool, you know, and they paid me a little bit to do it, and so every commercial had the song on there, and then they did a commercial on television just about me, and it was like, this is awesome, like this is surreal. And so when I go back to that college, there's a life-size picture of me like in one of the buildings, and it's like, that's so, like, it's just really cool, you know. And I never thought I could have an impact or anything like that much, you know. And it's not, you know, I don't, if people don't want to listen to the music and stuff like that, like, that's okay. But for the people who do and whatnot, I hope that it brings them, you know, peace, joy, happiness, whatever it may bring them, you know. And that's why I continue to do it. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I was at my freshman year in college. In my second year, I was like, you know what, I need to do a full album. So I did a full 12-song album, and you know, it wasn't my favorite thing, but like I said, I'm super picky, you know. I'm when it comes down to vocals and the intricacies of the tracks and stuff, some people are like, it sounds so good, and I'm like, no, it sounds awful, trust me, you know. And so I'm super picky, so you might hear me say that a lot, you know, like, it wasn't good, you know.
Even though I'm sure it's all amazing, and you seem so humble about it, and that just like makes me smile, because, you know, there's nothing, in my opinion, worse than someone whose ego is so inflated, and you obviously could have an inflated ego, but you just seem so humble about it. And now obviously you're here at Belmont University. Of course, we're so glad that you're here, and tell us about what you recently released. I'm sure a lot of people know about it, but tell us about that.
Okay. Well, my first year here, I released a project called Eagle Rock Sessions. It was a 5-song EP, and that EP featured a song called The Flower Song, which did a lot for me. It sold in every state, and well, that EP sold in every state here in America, and then sold some in Europe and Germany and stuff like that. So it was really, really, really cool when I found that out. I was blown away. I did not expect that at all, you know. I had a lot of sales come from Kansas, you know, tons of people from back home, you know, which was still really awesome, you know.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and that led me to get a band. I got literally got lucky. I got the 9 or 8 best musicians on campus, I think, and we started playing all those songs out live and stuff like that. Well, about 4 months later, I look on YouTube, and there's this video of it's like 2 girls and 2 guys like sitting in their garage in like Maine or New Jersey, I think, and they got this little cheap drum set and like a little guitar, and they're doing a cover of the Flower Song. And it was just like, how did they know? You know, I just didn't expect that, you know, like, how do they know that song? That was probably one of the coolest moments for me.
That's so rewarding, just to see how you, all the way in Maine, can kind of be like influential on someone. And
it is, definitely. That, like I said, that song just really helped a lot to grow some fan base, you know. And so since then, I've kind of, I started writing some more, I wouldn't say quirky, I would say more like trying to be clever, like clever lyrically and stuff like that kind of songs. And so I wrote like Summer Girls, Autumn Leaves, a song called Olive, and a song called Wintertime. And I used 4 musicians. I put 4 tracks on the CD, and each one of them represents this stage, the seasons, of course, each season, you know, and it takes you through the life of me and how I met my fiance and stuff like that, and so it was really fun to do. And the concept it's a concept EP, you know. So if you buy it, or if you go on iTunes, you can see the cover, and the whole cover tells the story. So that's the recent thing. So
that's so sweet. And you just, ladies, I know that when you hear Cameron, you probably melt, but he just threw that in there that he has a fiance. And can you tell them about your fiance, just so we don't get all this fan mail and proposals?
Well, I'm lucky enough to have the most beautiful fiance in the world. She is amazing. The only bad part is that she's still in Kansas. And she's been in Kansas since I moved here in last August, a year from this past August. And so we've been doing a long distance thing, and it is the hardest thing in the world, you know. It's a lot of my songs revolve around, you know, miles that you know, split us. So, but it's been an experience, and it's drawn us closer. And you know, I got to this point in our relationship where I was like, I'm this far away from her, and I still can't live without her. So, I've got to marry her, you know.
Aww.
And
you're just making girls fall even deeper in love with you listening, so you're just causing a bigger issue. Well, I'm so happy that you have that, and I have all the faith that it will. The distance isn't going to keep years in love, and it's not going to keep you two apart. Well, thank you so much for telling us about kind of your backstory and how you are, where you are now. And I'm hoping that there are some Belmont artists or just Nashville artists that are watching this. What would be some advice or some words that you've maybe lived by that have kind of pushed you to this point of not giving up and just to keep going after what you have always dreamed of?
My mission statement is to pour my heart and soul onto paper and tape so that every ear has reason to believe that life is worth living to the fullest. And so when I think about that, I'm doing this. I'm writing and performing for something bigger than myself. I'm a huge believer, and in fact, I just got baptized a week ago, which was really,
congratulations.
Thank you. It was really awesome, and my walk with God is the most important thing in my life, and I think that is a huge part of your faith. Is a huge part of how far you'll go and where you'll go, because there's these brick walls that we hit as writers, as songwriters, and as artists, and I mean even anybody wanting to go anywhere who has drive will hit these brick walls down the road, and those brick walls are put in your way not to stop you, but to see how bad you want it. You know, so you have the choice when you hit those brick walls to turn around and say, just take the easy way out, or I can't do it. Or you have the choice to say, I'm going to climb it, I'm going to get over it. And just because there's one brick wall doesn't mean there's not going to be more. I mean, I've hit probably 3 or 4. I'll come to a time where I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm not good enough, I'm not, you know, and I just have to get through those days. One of the most important things I think I've learned is God is in the details. I didn't really know what that meant until I started, you know, recently my writing has kind of changed and been developed into this very specific, you know, people want to, when you hear a lyric, you hear a song, like people want you to take them somewhere, you know. So when it comes to songwriting, just remember God is in the details and be specific, you know.
I love that, and that is a really great thing to live by and a really great thing to keep in mind for all of you that are writing songs and trying to make it as a musician. But thank you so much, Cameron. And just real quick, tell us how we can find you, your websites, your Twitter, your Facebook, anything.
Yeah, Twitter, you know, twitter.com. Cameron Bedell, that's all it is. www.cameronbedell.com. It's going to have everything on there. Shows coming up, the bio, the band, the Skunks. The Skunks is my backup band. They're amazing. You guys got to check them out. Then it also has music on there as well and links to different things. The YouTube video, we did a cover of God Gave Me You, me and Emily Reed for Belmont, and that's on there, and I think you guys will enjoy that. Yeah, and then myspace.com/Cameron Bedell also has some stuff on there, and then on iTunes there's 3 CDs.
Well, I hope all of you were touched by his story and are inspired to actually go look him up or look online to see where he may be playing, and I think he'd definitely be worth checking out. And again, girls, he is engaged, but that shouldn't stop your fan club. I don't think he'll mind it. But all right, everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of What's Going Down in Bruintown. We'll be back with you again next week, interviewing a very special guest. It's a pretty hot local place to go eat. But thank you very much. Bye.